Welcome to the Township of Springfield, County of Union, State of New Jersey meeting for March 26, 2024. This meeting is being held in accordance with public laws of 1975, Chapter 231, and adequate notice of this meeting has been provided by a notice sent to the Star Ledger, the local source, and posted in the main lobby of the municipal building and on the Township website. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, led by American Legion Post 228 Commander, Vice Commander David Panner.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing for a moment of silence for our soldiers overseas and at home. Thank you. Roll call.
Mayor Weber,
Here.
Deputy Mayor Laufer,
Here.
Committeeman Capides,
Here.
Committeeman Huber,
Present.
Committeeman Kaiser.
Here.
All municipal offices are closed on Good Friday, March 29th. Spring cleanup. During the month of April, DPW crews will canvass the town in the garbage truck for vegetative waste. Branches 4 inches in diameter and smaller leaves and grass will be collected. Please note, material must be placed in paper recyclable bags or cans. Loose debris in the roadway will not be picked up. Can they twine it up if they have to?
I will ask our DPW director immediately.
Thank you. Just trying to see if they can twine up sticks and stuff. Mobile paper shredding event will be Saturday, April 6th at the pool, 44 Morrison Road, from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. And now we have the proclamation for Arbor Day, which is Friday, April 26th. And mark your calendars for the celebration at Veterans Park with the Environmental Commission. They'll be out there. It'll be a very nice event. I'm going to read the proclamation. I just want to make sure I don't have anything else on actual Arbor Day. And I do not. Whereas in 1972, J. Sterling Morton proposed to the Nebraska Board of Agriculture that a special day be set aside for the planting of trees. And whereas this holiday, called Arbor Day, was first observed with the planting of more than 1 million trees in Nebraska. And whereas Arbor Day is now observed throughout the nation and the world. And whereas trees can reduce the erosion of our precious topsoil by wind and water, cut heating and cooling costs, moderate the temperature, clean the air, produce oxygen, and provide habitat for wildlife. And whereas trees are a renewable resource giving us paper, wood for our homes, fuel for our fires, and countless other wood products. And whereas in our township, increase property values, enhance the economic vitality of businesses, areas, and beautify our community, and whereas trees, wherever they are planted, are a source of joy and spiritual renewal, now therefore I, Chris Weber, Mayor of the Township of Springfield, on behalf of the Township Committee, do hereby proclaim April 26, 2024 as Arbor Day in the Township of Springfield, and encourage all Springfield residents to support our efforts to protect our trees and woodlands in support of the Township's urban forestry program, and to plant trees to gladden hearts and promote the well-being of present and future generations. And I will sign that. And there is our proclamation for Arbor Day on April 26, 2024. We have a new date for the Egg Hunt and Kite Fest. It is Saturday, March 30th from 2 to 4. Bring kites to fly. There'll be photos with the Easter Bunny, DJ, music, and more. But the new date is March 30th. It's been postponed. Chisholm Park, 2 to 4. So that will also be on the website, Township rec website also. All right, so now we will go to public comment on agenda items only. Public comment on agenda items only. Do we have anything that was a email in? We don't have anything. Okay, so we have no emails in. Anybody out there on public comment on agenda items only?
Which mic? This one here?
Black one,
Do
yeah.
I have to hit a button or anything, or no?
Oh, you're good.
Oh, no, it's on.
Good. All right. Jerry Fernandez, 393 Hillside Avenue. Wondering if you can speak a little bit about 2024-89 resolution on the agenda?
Yes, I will be pulling that resolution, and we'll be going into detail on that one.
Can you tell us a little information why we need the consultant, what that's for?
Do you guys want to get into it now, or you want to postpone it?
I mean, this is.
I can give a quick overview.
I'm bringing it up just because this is
Yeah.
the only time I can before you vote for it, right?
Okay, so let's bring it up now then. You have any other questions? Because I'm not going to go back and forth.
Well, yeah, I do, but, I mean,
You're going to have to give me the questions now then? Because what's going to end up happening is.
Members of the public get,
Why don't,
Yeah, you get 5
I
minutes.
got five, okay, so question is, why we need the group, what, and perhaps we do need it, but what they would be doing. And also coming to light the fact that there's been an incident where this person evidently had shot himself in the foot, and there's going to be an investigation done, just like it would be in any town, in the state of New Jersey. My recommendation would be to table this until the investigation is done, and then once the investigation is done and everything is fine, if everything comes out fine, then bring it back to vote here. You don't need to, I don't believe, unless there's some other information, again, that I'm not aware of, that you need this right away. But the fact that this has come to light, I think it's in the best interest. This person evidently will be dealing with the morale of our fire, our police, our OEM, and everything else. You want to make sure everything is clear before you start the process, in my opinion. But yes, you can tell me now what they may be doing.
You done?
For now.
Okay.
I mean, this is.
And you can take a seat. If you're done with your questions, then that's it. That's how
I
that's
mean,
how
I
we run
could
this meeting.
stand here and hear, can I?
Then go ahead.
I still have 5 minutes to listen, so.
Use up your time, brother.
I'm done with this portion, but I have the right to stand here.
Then
Mayor.
stand there, 'cause I won't answer.
do have the right to stand here.
Then I guess we're gonna do this that way. Because it's gonna result in a back and forth between
No,
you
it's
and I
not.
like
I'm
last
not
meeting.
going to answer you back.
Nah, you should have thought of that before you posted something on social media about your
Mayor,
friend.
I have the right to, this is the time for me to speak here
Any other
before you
comments?
vote on it. I can speak at the end of the meeting, but it'll be too late.
yeah, just,
You're taking it too personal.
good.
I'm good.
He's good.
All right, you were gonna,
Thank you for your comments.
okay, all right.
Any other comments?
I don't, I'm going to reserve any comments and questions that I have for when we pull that resolution. I don't know if anybody else wants to comment.
Yeah, Mayor, correct me if I'm wrong, before we vote on it, we're planning on having a discussion up here.
That's correct. And as of right now, the way this works is, we don't even know if we have the votes to make this thing pass. So you're gonna find out today, right here in front of everybody, if we have it. But there's things that everybody wants to say up here, and they'll be said. So, thank you. If there's no other public comment on agenda items only, we'll go to reports with the administrator's report.
If I may, just 1 second, Mr. Fernandez, in the resolution, You know, it is very explicit and says the organization and staffing of the township's police, fire, and OEM. There is a descriptor in the resolution that does answer your question. And, sorry, Mayor.
Nope. All good. We'll go to the administrator's report with our administrator, Mr. John Basicolo.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to start with the resurfacing of the pool. I asked our engineer, Mike Disco, to come in because I wanted to explain what's entailed with this resurfacing, because I think some people might think that it's.
Nice
Thank
job.
you, Tamara. Some people might think that it's, you know, it's more of a, just a coating or a painting type of thing. And it's actually very detailed, and it takes a lot of time and effort to get this done. We're looking at 13,000 square feet in the pool. So Mike, if you would join me on this, so we can. Yeah, yeah, it's quite big. So we're looking at starting.
Other Mike.
We're looking at starting within the next 2 weeks. And I asked Mike if we could go through the steps that it takes to get this replastering done. So,
Yeah, we had a pre-construction meeting with the contractor on Monday of this week. I think we were pleasantly surprised that they indicated they would be starting within potentially next week. Worst case, weather permitting, would be a week and a half or the week, the following Monday. They got a 3-week process to complete the pool from start to finish. 1 week for all the demos and removals and preparation. A second week for the bond coating that's going to be there before the resurfacing material, and then the third week, which is the actual resurfacing. And I'll point out that when they do that resurfacing work, they're coming with 25 people to be working on that pool at the same time. This is a major pool contractor. They're starting 4 pools in New Jersey this week. Their goal is to get in and out, and we're very happy that we've got a contractor that can staff the project, unlike your historic contractors that work on the pool. They come with certainly not 25 people. You'd be lucky to get to the second hand of people. So their intent is to blitz it, and weather permitting, it would be completed in 3 weeks' time. So what's involved in the pool? It's not just a painting. So a painting is what the Recreation Department does approximately every 2 years, and in some cases, based upon the condition of the pool, they have to paint the pool yearly. That's done in-house by quotes or whatever process the Recreation Department does. The last time the pool was done in a significant way, I believe, was 2013, so it's 11 years ago. And what happens, over time, you build up those paint coatings on the shell of the pool, and they don't necessarily adhere as much as you would like to. Based upon the desire of council, the pool is being changed from a regular, I think it's chlorinated rubber paint, to a actual cementous recoating material. So that requires you have to strip all of the paint surfaces off the concrete shell. This pool was built in the mid-1960s. It's a concrete pool, reinforced concrete, traditional. That was the standard at that time. So all of the paint materials get off. All of the tile that is below the coping will be replaced. All of the lane lines and the targets in the dive tank will get replaced. Miscellaneous coping, if there's loose coping, that's the top concrete thing, will get off. And then they will acid wash, and they will basically either water blast or sand blast the whole shell of the pool to get that down as much bare-boned to the concrete as possible. Then they go in with what's called an acid wash to remove any particles that are lingering on. After that, they dry the pool out and they kit it, they're going to put a bond coat on, and then they build up with basically a thin cementitious layer rather than a traditional paint layer. The goal of this is to have the pool last a long time without the need to do remedial painting. The contractor indicated, based upon the material selected by the architect, that it would be about a 15-year life before you have to do it. There are some potential bid upgrades that we took for materials that would be more expensive, that would last longer. We're working through that. We applied for a grant for those materials, and we should hear from Union County within less than 30 days, I think, on that. There's also the desire to add a cover to the pool, which will protect the pool, keep those geese out, prevent the staining of your new resurfacing material. All of the expansion joints on the bottom of the pool and the walls get redone. That's an epoxy joint between two adjacent concrete sections of the pool. You rake that out, you put a backer rod in there, you put the epoxy coating on, so no water can leave the pool or enter the pool. We're going to look at the hydrostatic valves. We're going to look at the main drain that drains from the pool to the filter house. Again, all of the tiles, the band under the coping will be replaced. There's also some miscellaneous concrete repairs. Over time, the pool, like anything else that's 60 years old, it's not going to function like it did when it first been. We've got one section in the dive tank where the wall is a little wavy. We're going to explore that and try to fix that. And there's a piece or two in the floor that has to get some work done. On the steps going into the pool, they're going to add a band of tile there, which is good for aesthetics, and also it's a practical reason to prevent anti-slipping. Adjacent to each of the joints, they're going to put a small band of tile as well so that they can butt the new resurfacing material without touching the elastomeric joint that we're going to put in. Have I covered everything, or what am I missing? I'm not.
Oh,
The only thing I
you should go longer.
The only thing I wanted to add to that is that you mentioned the geese. We have the company coming for an application this week, the first application. After the pool the plaster is done, they will be out again, and then every month they come out and treat the grounds so we keep the geese away. So I just wanted everybody to understand, it is a very complicated and tedious project. It's not just slapping paint on. This is much, much deeper, and I think we're going to be rewarded with a job that lasts, 12 to 15 years.
I think the key is, once the contractor shows up, I don't think they're going to leave till they're done. And so, to me, the most important date is when they physically get on the site. I think once they're there, we're talking about the 3 weeks that they said. So, weather permitting, subject to any,
And projected start is the first week of April,
yes. Yeah, but potentially next week.
which would be the first
We're going
week
to
of.
cover the pool going forward.
Yeah.
That's the
End of
goal.
season, we're gonna have.
End of the season, it'll be drained,
Yeah, but
You
covered.
leave the water in.
Leave the water in and then, because that keeps them from buckling, right?
The water, I mean, when you have the water in the pool, it prevents the lifting of the pool bottom. Remember that when the diving tank, that's very deep. So if you take all the water out of that, the groundwater, so powerful, would actually push up on that. You'd either have heaving of the bottom or cracking of the bottom. So water in the pool should remain.
It'll stop all the leaves from falling
Falling
in,
in,
the
the
geese,
geese
cleaning
from
it up.
going in there.
The pool is down now to a, pretty shallow at the deep end, but once they get down, there's probably a good foot of muck that's gotta be cleaned out. So we're gonna cover that and hopefully avoid that next year. Be easier to open, cleaner when we open, so that's the goal. Any questions on the resurfacing?
We're anticipating a 12 to 15-year lifespan of this?
Yes.
Okay, great.
I think this is exactly what we promised. and
100%.
It'll offer a better pool experience for everybody who is there every summer.
100%.
Yeah, I got to tell you now, the Y is running our pool. We have talked to the Y. They are experts in this field. And people online can say whatever they want, but the fact is, when the Y tells us we have one of the best pools in Union County, we have one of the best pools in Union County. It's a fantastic facility. I am hoping that we are going to see a large number of new families joining. We are committed to our partnership with the Y and getting what we need to get done to make this an enjoyable season and make it an enjoyable, every season going forward. So plenty of room, plenty of green space there, playgrounds, everything else. So please look forward to joining our summer pool.
I think I brought this up one time before. What I like to do before the pool opens, like a week before, that Friday night, open the pool free, let people go in, show them the improvements that we did. So they can say, holy,
It's a great idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want,
Like an open house.
I want people to do it, and I think we gave them hot dogs, and we paid for the hot dogs.
I think it's a great idea.
We can see, I know the why.
I think we did that like 6 years ago, so.
It was when we redid the whole thing, we did that.
The pool house.
Yeah, pool house. And people came in and people were amazed at what they saw. This way they can see what the pool's gonna look like. Look, there's no more crack here, there's no more this. I mean, I think that if we can afford it.
Years ago, there was a question put forward to the residents of the town, and the residents of the town had a choice, and it was, the committee up here had to choose. Do you do a pool house or do you do a pool? Now, I am of the generation where my kids sat on the floor in the bathrooms when it rained. So I understood that the township at the time only had enough money for a pool house. Did not have money for both. So you cannot sit up here and fault other administrations for doing what was needed at the point. And at that point, the proper thing to do was to do the pool house. So are we playing catch-up on the pool? Sure we are, but there's only enough money to go around for some things at a time, and now we're getting this done, so.
I think it's a great project, and we're looking at grant opportunities from the County of Union, which I think is critical. So,
And we will be up there every step of the way to make sure that we're on schedule.
You said something about a splash park?
no, she didn't
No,
say that.
I heard her say splash park.
She didn't say that.
What'd you say?
It was, no, she
You
was,
did. I heard it.
no, she didn't say
I
that.
heard it. So when can we have a splash park there? Okay. We are trying for a splash park.
Talking about the splash parking lot, did we correct the leak in the little kids' pool?
Yes.
We did? Okay.
We did that last
That
year.
was done last year.
Yeah, we did that last
I
year.
just want to make sure.
They tunneled that out, they fixed the leak, they tunneled the slide out, they put extra water to the slide.
Yep.
Everything is working now.
Thank you, Mr. Disco.
Further questions for Mr. Disco?
Thank you.
If not,
Running to my 7:30. Thank you.
Thank
you're
you.
dismissed. Thank you, Michael. All right, continuing on, I want to touch on our infamous telephone poles to our sewer line up on Morris Avenue by TD Bank. JCP&L finally came out last Friday, removed or put in 2 new poles on the other side of the sidewalk, which we had to dig the sidewalk out, by the way, in order to do this. They moved their wires over, and Verizon was out today. They did not finish. They're going to come back tomorrow. They've got to move their wires off the old poles to the new ones. Once that's done, they're going to cut both poles down to about 2 feet. We've got our contractor who's going to come out and replace the sewer line. So he'll be out. We're going to pull the 2 poles out of the pipe, and then we'll go ahead and replace the line. So that should be done hopefully very shortly, so we can stop running up there every weekend. It's really become a hassle for us. The Joanna Way pumping station, we were there. We're going to have to go out to bid to get that done. We've reviewed the plans. Pumping Services, who was in the co-op, notified us that they were not going to bid the job. So now we have to advertise and go out, and that'll be sometime in April. DPW crews have started cleaning our parks and working on the ball fields, preparing for spring. The netting at Ruby has been installed on the ball field. We had a sewer backup the other night in the Northview Drive area, and I bring this up because when we went in there, it took us several hours. We took out a 5-gallon pail of wipes. We've asked residents time after time, please, they are not flushable. I don't care what they advertise, they do not disintegrate. They get stuck in the pipe and it turns into solid rock. We had a very difficult time getting it out. And the frustrating part is the sewer that's going to back up in somebody's house, I guarantee is not the guy to put the wipes in there. But he's going to be the beneficiary of the sewer backup. So if you're doing it, please don't. It does cause us huge issues. Other than that, the pool is the big thing. I think that's the main topics for the moment, unless somebody has, I want to touch on our redevelopment, sorry. If anybody has been up by Gomes, they see that he's making very good progress, actually. We've got a meeting with them on April 2nd again. I talked to Patriot Way today, which is Garden Homes down at the end of Church Mall. They had a holdup, as we all know, because of New Jersey American Water. Brett's gonna send me a schedule, a construction schedule in the next day or two. They think they're pretty much passed within the next few weeks. New Jersey American Water should be out of there, and then they're ready to get going. So he will give us a detailed construction schedule shortly. If we look at, I think we discussed, last time we discussed the Scotty's property, Mike Mistretta and I went back to the developer there and said, we'd like to see that building get a little more pop, because we feel that it's critical. It's at the beginning of the town. It's a critical building. We want to make sure that when you come into town, you see that building right away. We don't, what he presented to us, we felt looked too residential. It didn't fit on Morris Ave. And the developer has agreed, he's gonna have new drawings for us in the next couple of days, and on the April 9th meeting, we should be back to you with those drawings. So that's kind of where we are in those developments. Saks is gonna be starting to rent the apartments very shortly. They came in for some more permits on some work to do on Van Winkle's Creek. So probably within the next month or two, you're gonna see those apartments start to rent. So we're in pretty good shape there, actually. Are there any other questions or comments?
Well, I'd like to thank whoever got the bridge cleaned out. I mean,
was-
last Friday, the last, I was worried about that because I could see 2 inches of rain.
Well, if you saw the pictures,
Yes,
the last opening is totally blocked. We can't reach it. It's on Union's side. It's not on ours. We can't even reach it. So we cleaned out what we could get to, which was the middle and the one on, depending on where you're standing, closest to Springfield, in our side of the creek. So that continues to be an issue. Now, we do have a meeting tomorrow? Thursday, sorry. We have a meeting Thursday with the state on replacing that bridge. So we're back to that once again. So,
Which needs to happen.
that was a long time ago. What about,
Stage and
did-
time, that thing needs to be updated so that water can flow through, so.
well, we've
It-
had
it
that,
might be
we've
a-
had that meeting, as you know, probably
Yeah.
6 years ago, and then before
There
that,
was one about 10 years ago.
at
yeah.
least 10 years ago, they said within 5 years it would be done. And, no, has anybody been in touch with Union, trying to get that unclogged in case, God forbid, we get another rain like we?
I will talk to their BA, but I know Robbie, I believe, talked to their DPW. There was not a lot of interest in cleaning out the woods that end up falling down into the creek and blocking it up, is what happens.
I know it floods over there very easy,
Yeah, I agree.
worse than here.
But, you know, the frustrating part is, and I don't want anybody to take this wrong, our DPW, really, it's not their job to clean that creek, and we're kind of getting strapped with that, and we're there more than we really probably should be.
But people do appreciate it.
I get it,
I've
and
got
that's why we
calls
do it,
saying
but
Thank you.
we don't have the equipment and we don't have the manpower, and you got to get the state involved, because if you're working from the road, it's a highway, it's a state highway. It's a project. So
Thank you, or thank Robbie.
hopefully the bridge gets replaced and that'll eliminate this situation.
Appreciate it.
Because that's what's really causing it. It's those openings are just too small. Everything gets blocked in them. Yeah, the other bridge that they're proposing is just one opening. So hopefully everything will flow through. So
Oh, yeah, that would be ideal.
we'll let you know after Thursday. Any other questions or comments? Thank you, guys.
Meetings and reports.
Mr. Mayor, I would like to move the adoption of the meeting minutes of January 1, 2024, as emailed.
A second, we're backed up.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We have a ordinance for first reading, ordinance 2024-05. This ordinance is to establish a cap bank for the calendar year 2024 pursuant to NJSA 48:4-45.14.
I will make a motion to adopt ordinance 2024-05, read by Madam Clerk, with the publication in the local source on April 4th, 2024, with the final hearing scheduled for April 30th, 2024.
I will second that motion.
All right. Any discussion on this? Can we get a little breakdown of what's happening here?
Yeah.
Craig?
Diane.
Diane? Include a splash park?
This is basically a paperwork
And it's something we do every year, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Any discussion, any other discussion up here? No. All right, let's go to a roll call vote.
Committeeman Kaiser?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Laufer?
Yes.
Committeeman Capides?
Yes.
Committeeman Huber?
Yes.
Mayor Weber?
Yes. Let's go to resolutions. I'm going to request that Resolution 2024-89 be pulled. I will read the other resolutions for approval by consent agenda. Resolution 2024-90, 2024-91, 2024-92, 2024-93, 2024-94, and 2024-95.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to say resolutions 2024-90 to 95.
Second.
Committeeman Huber?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Laufer?
Yes.
Committeeman Capides?
Yes.
Committeeman Kaiser?
Yes.
Mayor Weber?
Yes.
Resolution 2024-89. This resolution authorizes an award of contract to the Ambrose Group, LLC, to perform professional consulting services for the township in connection with the organization and staffing of the township's police and fire departments and Office of Emergency Management.
Mr. Mayor, it was read by Madam Clerk, resolution 2024-89.
Second.
So, if you're watching, take a seat. This is going to be in a few minutes. Because I got a lot to say on this one. And the first thing I'm going to start out with, because I was wondering how I was going to start out with this, but luckily, social media took care of that with me. And it's interesting, because I'm going to address you right here, because you're a former mayor who sat up here. Just like I acknowledged you had a decision when the pool house was made, and you had a decision to make a pool or do a pool house. You did what was the best one. All right, well, you were up here at one point. So the fact that on social media, it's put up there by a former mayor that says, we're giving a no-bid contract to a political friend of the mayor's. Let's address a few things first. Number one, when Anthony Ambrose was a chief and a director of the Newark Police Department, I was a cop, and my ID number was 7820. He had no idea who I was. I've never even been in the same room with this guy. When you're a director and you're a chief in a big city department that has thousands of employees, I'm a guy that was rocking a patrol car. Have nothing to do with that. Not a friend at all. Okay, that's number one. Number two, he's probably one of the most intelligent, powerful people in the state of New Jersey law enforcement, who is between Newark, the county, the prosecutor's office. He has done almost every form of law enforcement possible, okay? We put out several requests, and I'll tell you why the requests were put out, because there was a lot of stuff. So, the last audit for public safety was done in 2004, if I'm correct. That's 20 years ago. Now, things change, people's circumstances change, and people's life situations change. We had a fire chief who was here and decided he wanted to retire. And whatever the reason was, you can't stop somebody from retiring when it's their time to go. That left a vacuum gap in the fire department. Now, if you ask the unions will tell you all day long that they are 10, 20 people understaffed, they are 10, 20 promotions behind, and That's not always accurate. Now, I admittedly have become friendly with a lot of these people. I've become friends with the chief of police and the officer in charge, who's a captain of the fire department. We've all become friendly with these people. So what happens when something like this goes on and you have this power vacuum? And I'll be clear on it, because Captain Mastroni has been the officer in charge there. Captain Mastroni has been the one who was under Chief Palumbo for at least 6 years. How long? 8 years. Groomed to take over as the officer in charge. But what ends up happening is that when other people see that this is going on, everybody suddenly wants to become a chief. That's straight up. Your unions, right now, your unions are, I don't even know what to tell you. I'm fed up with both of them at times. Because too much, doesn't matter how much you give them, it's never enough. And that goes for police also. And so we need an independent analysis on this. Now, what we are looking for is we are looking for any kind of potential cost savings to the township. And what I mean by that is, fire chiefs and police chiefs aren't cheap. They have a lot of responsibility on their hands. They take care of this township's public safety, so they don't come cheap. Now, there is also different structures, different promotions. There are different ways to handle all of these departments. There's a chief style, there's a director style, there's several positions that have been done away with in this township, such as deputy chief positions. We do not have any deputy chiefs currently in police or fire, all right? When you're doing things like this, it's not always in your best interest to just go out there and just promote right away without an analysis of what is happening. And that is what we're looking for. It is also very hard to find someone who is not, I don't want to say friendly, but who has not come across the paths of a man who has done 35, 36 years. Long time around here, all right? So what you look for is you look for somebody who is hopefully going to give an impartial, unbiased analysis of what is actually needed. Are we short-staffed? Are we heavy here? Are we light there? There is nothing nefarious going on about a contract being issued because, and I made sure of this because I knew this was going to happen, our business administrator reached out to 3 other places to make sure that the bids, that other people had a chance to bid on this, and our guy actually came in the cheapest.
We only got one other, the other 2 did not refuse to bid on it, actually.
Okay. So with that, I'm going to let the other ones speak. Let the other council speak on this, the other committee speak on this, because I would like to hear their opinion. If they feel that this is a need for the departments, I personally do. I will tell you that right now we're in the middle of a switchover from Mountain Valley Dispatch over to County Dispatch, and it is going over 90%. It's going over a little. It's going over well, but there's some issues with it, and nothing's ever perfect. But we up here understand what has gone through and what happened with the budget the last year, and we're trying to avoid that happening again. And we are looking to save money in any possible way we can, whether it comes with a restructuring or reorganization or any advice put forward to what I consider a small consulting fee that can result in hundreds of thousands of dollars of savings to the township. I'll start over here to Rich.
I agree with some of the things that the mayor said. The last time this happened was before I got on here. Right before I got on here. I remember years ago when the Township Committee, I don't know if they had a consultant, got rid of all lieutenants. Am I correct? I could be wrong. I think it was lieutenants on the police department. I mean, sergeant's the officer in charge. I'm just saying, for what happened over the weekend or before the weekend, I think we should just hold off on, giving this gentleman the contract. I'd like to know more about him. To me, it would save us the money, which we've been hurting for money. I'd just like to wait before we award this contract. I mean, do I think we need it? Yes, we do need it. But at this time right now, the chief, and I'm not, don't get mad at me, Chief, the chief's not going anywhere. An officer in charge, I mean, I think you're doing a great job. I just want to wait and see, before we appoint somebody to come in and go through your departments. You know what it was like, Chief, they tore apart the police department last time. And they promoted, I don't know how many sergeants were at one meeting. You guys did, you did.
If you're gonna keep addressing me.
Oh, all right, I won't address that. All right, the old, no, old Township Committee, my fault. All right, it was a Township Committee before I started. They appointed a lot of sergeants. I would just like, I think just we should table it, and within 2 weeks, if everything's clear with this gentleman, I have no problem. But I just want to make sure before I vote on this. That's my opinion.
I started on the Township Committee in 2018. I say that because I believe I have been or served on the Public Safety Committee since that time. This is the first year that I have not been on it. But I bring that up because ever since we started, I have discussed with our fire department, our police department, our Office of Emergency Management, and our first aid squad, staffing needs, equipment needs, training needs, and wants of those departments. Not that they're underutilized, but the things that would make them that much better. We have an opportunity right now, because we are not paying a fire chief's salary. We have an opportunity right now to take a pause, perhaps a pivot, and reevaluate some things that are going on with all of our first responders. And I hope that this company, in addition to Office of Emergency Management, in addition to police, in addition to fire, also look at our first aid squad to give us recommendations, suggestions, not mandates, for us to come back and us to follow. Police department have staffing needs. Fire department has staffing needs. Our Office of Emergency Management, first aid squad, needs like radios and things of that nature. We have an opportunity now to have an outside company come in and evaluate us and tell us what would best perhaps serve the community with the system we have now. As Committeeman Huber said, our chiefs aren't going anywhere. Our officer in charge is more than qualified to do the job he's doing right now. These guys are all in. And I hope, and I know that they'll be cooperative with any type of audit, so to speak, that we do. And this is to make our first responders the best that they can be. And if there's an opportunity that we can take those recommendations, and those recommendations perhaps would provide us some more cost-saving opportunities, then I think this resolution is a no-brainer investment to do so.
So I know Anthony Ambrose on paper. His resume is unquestioned. I know communities in which the Ambrose Group has come in, and they have provided invaluable recommendations to the performance, to the staffing of various public safety apparatuses. I think this is the very definition of keeping the public trust in how we allocate town resources. I can't tell the future. I have no complaints at all about Chief Cook, about Captain Mastroni. No complaints. This is not a reflection on performance. This is simply, as Committeeman Capidy said, we're at a touch point right now, and we need a pulse check from, I'm using a lot of consultant speak, but we need a temperature check on where we're at. Maybe we're doing a great job, but we as a township committee need to understand that we know enough to know what we don't know. And this, I believe, will provide us with a blueprint for how to succession plan, because right now we don't have a fire chief. This will give us a blueprint for succession planning. This will give us a blueprint for possible savings. This will give us a blueprint for how we run public safety in Springfield, hopefully, for another 20 years. And my final thought is this. This is done because we as a township, as Committeeman Huber said, are under very real financial circumstances. And these circumstances, they're never going to get better because everything gets more expensive. If this provides us with a staffing outline that makes sense for a township of 18,000 people, that is the best money we can ever spend. So I have zero doubts in the man's competency. I have zero doubts in the man's professional acumen. I have zero doubts in the man's resume. The man's been chief of police. The man's been police director. The man's been director of public safety. The man's been chief of detectives in a prosecutor's office. The man, he's done a lot, and by the way, we're hiring a firm. We're not hiring one person. So I think that's also important. So we're getting a variety of experience here. So I will be casting my vote in favor because I believe there is a ton of upside that can come from this professional services agreement or consulting services agreement.
You're up.
Question to our council. Is there a time frame for the completion of said report? Or
We're looking at 3-month, I think a 3-month outlay, and for us right now, again, you know, we would like to get things straightened out within the fire department. We would like to know where we stand, and you know, we have a budget coming up, and
not the budget's going to get passed in less than 2-4 weeks.
correct.
The question is, do we have, in this contract, is there a time frame that we have? Greg?
The resolution, since it's professional services agreement, the resolution right now goes to 1 year. That's
1 year.
for a professional services agreement. But the contract itself, if the township committee wants to limit it to something less than that, do so in the contract itself.
But he advised us that this was a,
Craig, you got a copy of the quote in front of you, don't you? I don't have it with me.
I do, I don't think there was a
Is his mic on?
specific timeframe.
Microphone.
No.
Greg,
sorry.
There wasn't a specific time.
Greg.
Sorry.
There's not a specific time frame given within the proposal, and, you know, I don't work within that sphere necessarily, but that might be because until you come in, you don't necessarily know, how much time you need to commit.
I'm just, so, hey, there's not a specific time frame. I'm imagining it would take some time for any consultant to kind of come in and do their analysis. You're not gonna come in with 2 weeks and get a report.
No.
I think this is long-term planning. I don't think this is necessarily, it's March, right? So it's already flying, so we're probably looking for something at the end of the year. I would, generally be supportive in the sense that I don't think there's been a report commissioned in a long time. I don't think there's been a study. I'm generally always in favor of getting an outside analysis and perspective. If you don't like his recommendations, we don't have to make them, right? If you do like his recommendations, you can make them. That's the point of a study. I'm generally in favor of that and giving us a playbook. But I would be just as happy as supporting Rich in your effort if you want to postpone it. I don't know if it's one way or the other. If kicking it off tonight gives us any further time, if one of our members feels comfortable pushing it off, I would be in favor. I'm also generally in favor if we move forward tonight. I'm never opposed to studying it. I would be interested to see what somebody with a different perspective and certainly has some breadth of knowledge, giving me a different perspective than what I already have. So I'll generally support the group, but if we want to postpone and that makes people feel more comfortable, I don't think that's the worst.
Do we call the roll?
Yeah. Roll
Yeah,
call.
yeah.
Committeeman Huber?
No.
Committeeman Laufer?
Yes.
Committeeman Capides?
Yes.
Committeeman Kaiser?
Looks like it's going to be the majority, yes.
Mayor Weber?
Abstain.
Okay. Resolution passes 3 yeses.
Paying some bills now, or?
We are going to now,
No,
discussion and action items.
Mr. Mayor, I would like to request approval by New York Blood Center, New Jersey Blood Services to hold a blood drive at Chisholm Community Center on Wednesday, March 27th, from noon to 10 p.m. Hold harmless and a certificate of insurance provided.
I will second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Also, Mr. Mayor, I would like to approve a request by Jonathan Dayton High School Diamond Club to hang varsity team sponsor banners on Ruby Park left fence field. No banners on right field fence that borders Rose Avenue backyards.
I will second that.
For the baseball season, by the way, they'll be taken down once the season's over.
I still second that.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Can we, just one thing on Ruby real quick? Scoreboard is working. Ruby has turned out fantastic over the last 3 years, 4 years, I don't even know anymore how long it's been, but it's been work. Every year we've chipped away at something, and it was, cleaning up the outfield, then it was the poles with the netting along the first base line.
Killing a tree.
The electric, the dugouts. I'm not going to even acknowledge that one. The dugouts, the electric, the grading. We redid some of the outfield because we had a lot of divots out there. We did a fence topper all the way around. Now the scoreboard. It's a real high school field. Looks fantastic. So thanks to everybody involved.
I will be calling out for that one.
I can't.
Online.
That's what you want at. Let's go to finance and pay some bills, please.
I'm going to make a motion to adopt payroll and invoices for the period of March 13th, 2024 through March 26, 2024, in the amount of $5,423,475.77.
I will second that.
Committeeman Kaiser?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Laufer?
Yes.
Committeeman Capides?
Yes.
Committeeman Huber?
Yes.
Mayor Weber?
Yes.
Everybody should have received the February budget report, the February pool budget report, the February revenue report, and the February pool revenue report,
Okay.
and file away accordingly.
Correspondence, we have the Westfield Historic Preservation Element Hearing, Planning Board, April 1st at 7:30 PM, 425 East Broad Street. Then we have New Jersey American Water Public Hearing, April 10th, 4:30 and 5:30. Proposed rate increase. Visit website for further information. Public comment on any governmental issue. So if anybody from the audience would like to come up for public comment on governmental issue, would love to hear from you.
Scott Horowitz, 74Q Drive. I just have a few questions about the Jitney, which I ride a couple days a week. I know we got a new one, and the current one doesn't have air conditioning, so I'm wondering when the new one will be available to go. That's the first question. The second thing is, it gets tedious trying to remember to bring a check every month, especially now that they're like making us be a little more responsible, for lack of a better term. Has anyone ever looked into like an online payment system to pay for it? Because I know you could say you pay the whole year up front, but I get like the money from my pre-tax every month, and it becomes tedious. If it costs the town money, I know it's not worth it, but I thought it'd be something to look into.
Yeah, but if we have to take, I mean, this is only a question, if we have to take a credit card, whatever it is, then who is gonna pay that 4% that you're getting charged everywhere you go lately?
3%.
I mean, that's one thing I just want, want you to realize that. If we're gonna take it, we have to see if it's gonna charge us 4% more or whatever, 3%.
We'll look into that.
All right.
I haven't checked for you when it'll be in service. I don't know if it's back from being lettered and all the other good things that have to be done, so we'll find out for you shortly.
Can we even like piggyback it off of maybe like Community Pass or something like that? Maybe that could
We'll
be
have to see.
Yeah. Could we know by next meeting? Yeah. Yeah.
We don't have all the paperwork back on the Jitney yet. As soon as that comes in, it's ready to go.
Thank you.
It's too cold for the air conditioning anyway.
Okay, any other public comment, governmental issue?
Jerry Fernandez, 393 Hillside Avenue. I think you made a mistake here. You know, you put this person in, you went 6 months without a chief right now. A few years ago, you hired, I don't know, 3, 4 firemen. You didn't think it was necessary to do this, to hire somebody to evaluate the staffing then, but now you decide to do it. You have one of the best men who should be chief right now, sitting right there for the fire department. You had an employee who you made a new position for because you don't want to lose them. You should definitely put him in that position now. Rich, you brought up the pool. You brought up the pool again. That, I voted to get that, to start getting money for that. I was not on there in 2017 when they decided whether to do the pool, the building. If I had to do it, I would have fixed the bathrooms, put a little repair on the building, and spend the rest of the money on the pool and put that splash pool. I would have done that.
But I have
You know,
enough-
so
I have
no, let
enough
me
respect
finish. I
not
got
to
my
throw
5 minutes.
stones.
You want a back and forth or you don't? So you're making a mistake. And the fact that you've gone 6 months and now you hire a consultant who shot himself in the foot is under investigation. It's not, oh, well, it's a big deal. Anytime a gun goes off, all right, he's not a police officer anymore. He's a civilian. 2 civilians were in a room, a gun went off, and he shot himself in the foot. It's under investigation. You were right to wait a couple more weeks. What the hell would have been the difference? You made a mistake. If you want a back and forth, let me know. If you don't answer my emails, you don't answer my phone calls because
You
of
lied
whatever.
nonstop.
What?
Because you lied.
No, I do not lie. You don't like to be challenged. And you're not always right, Mayor.
Challenge me-
You're not
challenge
always
me on
right. Let me
correct
finish. You're
facts.
not always right.
Challenge
Don't tell me you didn't know him. We all know him. I knew him, and I had the restaurant. We all knew him. He's
guess
not
what?
just some fly-by-night guy.
Did you ever see me at your
You could have
restaurant?
waited a couple more weeks.
Did you ever see me at your restaurant?
You want a back and forth?
Yeah.
Well, let's meet anytime you want. You never want to meet. You never want to talk.
Because
You
you have
represent me,
nothing-
like it or not.
You have nothing credible to say.
Yeah, evidently you
You're-
bring my
you're-
name
no.
up quite a bit.
Because
You
you're
made a mistake
political and
tonight.
you try
Enjoy.
to light a fire on everything.
I have debate with you. I respect your seat and I respect the positions
don't.
of everybody. I
No, you
do.
don't. You do anything to try to win an election.
No, you're wrong. You're wrong. I respect the seat, but you have to understand that you're not always right, okay? And in this situation, Rich is right.
It's my opinion. I mean, it's your,
It's his opinion.
I mean,
So before we go on any further, because the comment also, we had I want to address another comment that was made by Mr. Fernandez about zoning laws and how they haven't been enforced adequately because we've left a critical position in the engineer's office vacant for a year. I'm going to turn that one over to my business administrator. Have we left a critical position vacant for a year?
Can we finish public comment before?
Sure. Any other public comment?
Drew Stern, 5 Berkeley Road. This won't be as controversial. Two things. The Springfield DPW is magnificent. I've called the Union County DPW 5 or 6 times, and John probably knows that. On a corner, we border a small piece of land on Mizell, and it's turning into a garbage dump. And the county will not come, and the county will not clean it up. I mean, it's their job.
You're talking about the...
Union, even the Springfield DPW even made a call on my behalf, and they will not come.
That's, I believe, because it's Mizell Park, I believe it's county parks and...
It's not Mizell, it's near the basin, across the street from the basin, that
Oh, I know what you
Yeah,
mean.
it's turning into a garbage dump. You let your kids play there, God forbid.
always crowded too. It's always.
Yeah.
What are you just seeing, a lot of debris in there?
Tons of debris, and it's growing and growing and growing and growing. All right, and the leaves, they didn't even bother to clean up the leaves this fall.
Anybody down, but you're exactly right. We call the county. If they don't come out, is that another thing that gets added then to our DPW to go over there? And we can, but again, our list just keeps.
They won't allow you.
It's difficult to get everything done and then start adding the things that aren't ours technically.
We could check in again with the county.
We certainly
We were
can.
successful, I think somebody had, I don't know if it's the same lot when I was mayor, but we were successful in getting them out. So
Thank you.
we'll take
I would appreciate it.
We'll take a
It's
run
starting
again.
to be an eyesore. And one other quick thing, on the corner of Linden and Berkeley, one of the telephone poles is now no longer brown, it's gray, and it looks like people have taken shots at it. They've chopped at it with a hatchet. I think they should take a look at it before it comes down. Next storm, it more and more comes down. Thank you very much.
Give me your name and number, and Robbie will call you tomorrow from DPW. Okay?
Do it privately. I don't want anybody from town calling me.
As soon as we're done.
And can I just say one thing? Yes. When the pool opened after the renovation, I was the mayor.
Oh.
I was the mayor, and I don't know everybody who was on the committee at that time. I don't know, but I know I was the mayor. I know you wouldn't vote for me for the mayor, but. No, but I mean, I was the mayor when it opened, and, but, I mean, I want that straightened out. People saying,
But you know what, Rich, there are certain things that every TC, probably since 1794, when Springfield was incorporated, that is almost a no-win situation.
Yeah.
And that was one of them.
you know,
All right, because there's only so much money to do one project or another project. So what you do is you don't throw stones. That's what you do.
we were worried about the kids at the pool.
Correct.
Getting, in other words, having a place in the pool if it rained, or, you know, any type of storm or anything like that, bad weather. We got a big enough room, I think it can fit 200 kids or 150 kids, I don't know what it is, but, I mean, that was the biggest thing that we,
As a child who spent time in the bathrooms, yeah.
I mean, and that was it.
Question?
All right, any other public comment? There's no other public comment right now. Can we talk, we'll close public comment, or we'll close public comment? Can you give us some information on what's happening with our zoning situation?
Yeah, let me touch on that if I may. First of all, the position that was open was secretary, had nothing to do with zoning or code enforcement. That was not that woman's job. The reason that position was left open as long as it was is because if you looked at our previous DPW contract, if somebody comes in to replace an existing employee, and in this instance, we had somebody that was here 30?
9.5 years.
No.
Oh,
How long
Nancy.
was Nancy here?
35, 36.
So we had a 36-year employee who got raises and everything over those 36 years. Under the old DPW contract, if I brought somebody in that had absolutely no experience, they started at where that person left. We did not want to do that, trying to be physically responsible. We wanted to get that taken out of the contract so that when we brought somebody in, we could bring them in at a more reasonable level. So that's really what the holdup was, why that position remained open, because we just didn't have the contract settled. So that was really the crux of it. But at no time did that have any impact on zoning or code enforcement, because that was the secretary, not the zoning or code enforcement officer.
They're out full-time. We've had no lapse in anything on zoning.
Correct. And anything that the secretary wasn't doing was picked up by the other people in the office.
Okay.
Thank you for clarification on that.
You're welcome.
Captain, I hear our fire truck is in finally, or close to being
Done?
in.
Yeah, so the new fire truck was delivered about 3 weeks ago. The shifts have been working tirelessly to try to get this in service. You know, when this truck comes, it comes as a shell, and we have to incorporate all our equipment on it, and they fabricate a lot of things. These guys are extremely handy when it comes to it, and they have good talents that they use in this situation. The truck should be in service hopefully by next week. We are waiting on some radio installations and testing out our new radio channels. Unfortunately, the truck will be going tomorrow out for a motor service. After doing some driver training and familiarization with the new truck, the new engine, we noticed that one of the Jake brakes settings aren't working well. So they got right on top of it. We notified the motor company. We're going to be dropping it off at their factory in Kearney tomorrow. It should be back to us in 2 days.
It's in Kearney?
It's going to be going to Kearney tomorrow morning, yeah.
The reason I ask is, are we gonna do a ceremony where all the
You
other?
want to ring the bell?
Yes. Basically, I thought I was going to get the pleasure of getting the fire truck delivered on my mayoral shift. And that was how many years ago? 2 years? So we have certainly been waiting.
You can do a ceremonial drive around town with you later, if
Hey,
you like.
can we do one thing?
Yes.
Wait, maybe next year I'll be mayor and we could do, wait till next year.
So the bad news is, if we order that fire truck today, and this is no exaggeration, it's almost a 5-year wait.
Yeah, no, did you?
So that truck was ordered over 2 years ago, and we got it.
Yeah, if anybody noticed, there was an article, I think it was the Camden Fire Department.
Yeah.
That they didn't have resources to make purchases years ago. They delayed that. But now that they have money to purchase fire trucks, who are now at the end of their life stage, they're not getting them in time, and the union is crying that there's a safety hazard. So it speaks to, we have a program in place year after year where we put money away and slowly but surely replace our trucks at a latter stage so that we're making the right moves. But thank you.
So it was ordered under your watch?
No, it was actually ordered, I thought, your year.
I don't remember.
And I thought it was going to come in
Yours.
under my year, and it got delayed because of the COVID and the COVID delays, and then we had the supply chain. So just imagine how many years ago. That's a long time.
Yeah.
Mr. Mayor, I have some additional information on the pole.
Yep.
What they actually do is they do go out with a hatchet and they chip away to see if that pole is good or bad, and that pole's going to be replaced, so it's already taken care of.
Nice job.
I want to talk about another thing about our neighbors. Milburn, there's an interesting article out right now. A lot of people always think the grass is greener somewhere else, okay? And there's a nice article out there right now about Milburn residents not so happy about Main Street being closed down, the restaurants and everything else. It just goes to show you that, you know, we hear it all the time with, you know, what can we do here like Millburn? And as it turns out, there is a large number of Millburn residents right now who find it is a hassle to have a main street closed. Yeah, and they have to go around, and they're finding it, there's safety delays, there's ambulance delays, police delays. You would know about this a little bit more than.
Oh, no. I was gonna comment and say, as a neighboring community, I want a resolution to keep that street closed. As somebody that lives on the border of Millburn and frequents Millburn Standard quite a lot, if you ever need me, you can find me at the Standard. I love the outside dining, so I hope they do keep it, but it does speak that there's two sides of every story.
Yeah, you really just can't please everybody, and right now, they're signing the petitions and getting the names together to try to reopen Main Street. There's a complaint that first responders cannot get through, and it is almost a 5 to 10 minute delay on them at times, because they have to go around.
No, the other side of that, there's a lot of residents that like it, are doing a counter petition.
Right.
So,
does anybody have anything else before we close out?
I'd just like to say, my prayers go out to the people in Baltimore.
Oy.
I did a lot of work in Baltimore years ago, and the 6 people that are still missing.
it was, yeah, it's
6 people are still missing.
6, it was a,
I mean, I'm in construction, and I know it's a rough thing.
it,
My prayers are out to the family and everything else.
yeah, it was the only people left on the bridge at the time of the
me tell you.
collision was the pothole crew. It was 8 people, 2 have been found, so 6 are.
Did you see the film where it showed a truck going across, and as it was going, you could see it going, that in the car where the last one's over, and the bridge coming down right after. I mean, it was unbelievable. I mean, the guy who was driving the boat, did it, I don't know if he screwed up or what, but he did a fabulous job saving people. Because that, people would have been driving off.
The third largest trust bridge in the world, I think it was. Yeah. So yes,
Yeah, they say millions of dollars.
Go out for all of them.
Really?
Make a motion.
Oh, but,
With that being said, I'll make a motion to close.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Adjourned.